this summer at one point. And I was like, let's just enjoy the deal. Plus, she gets a year. Her favorite sports out of the three is baseball.
Nice.
She's going to get a year of a national championship coach in Brian O'Connor.
Oh, yeah.
Top 3 coach in college baseball. Duty Noble's about to be turned up. So it is the Mardi Gras of the spring. Nobody does it like they do it. And it is the, the number one, oh gosh, what do I say? The number one culinary experience in collegiate athletics, because you're literally cooking in the stadium on the field.
Right.
With 100 smokers and eggs and all that. So the point is, yeah, she's going to stay through. I should have thought about that, because good luck, Maroon. I don't know if bourbon's going to be enough to be around all that, but may everybody have a good day. Fingers crossed. I'll say that. Because I understand the ebb and flow of all that, and all of us want our kids to get plugged in and find a good spot. In fact, I was talking to Realtor Locke Ward. We're doing another remote next week.
Nice.
For the guy who's leading Clean Up Jackson, and he's an awesome businessman and realtor, and he was talking about his daughter starting at the University of Alabama these last couple of weeks.
You mean newest kickball recruit?
Oh yeah,
we're gonna make him play.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's better shape than all of us.
So is Locke Ward thinking about playing in your Northeast Jackson kickball league?
He has said, I mean, he's got to represent Northeast Jackson. And he is Northeast. I mean, there's a lot of Northeast Jackson runs through his blood, right? He's got to go out there and show out.
He's got to.
So
that's like his.
It's his.
I mean, that's where I grew. I grew up in Belhaven.
Right.
We had a 4-wheeler.
Yes.
You could cut through LaFleur's Bluff, and I could come right into the back to right field of that back field.
So it was literally a connector between Belhaven and North.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I've heard you speak about this many times, but I never really. So that literally like connected the two neighborhoods or groups of folks.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
You probably had a lot of friends
on
both sides.
It was easy for me to get there from. I grew up on Pinehurst, which is the same street Belhaven's on.
Right.
There was a cut through to get to the Northeast Jackson baseball fields, which is where you play kickball.
Right.
So I could get there. Now, if I rode my bike, it wasn't that.
It was about 15 minutes?
Far. No, less than that.
Okay.
But if I was on a 4-wheeler, I was there in minutes.
Dang.
Yeah.
Can't take that cut through anymore.
All you had to do is, I don't think so. I wouldn't know. It's been 100 years.
Tent City.
Okay.
I think so. That's where everyone sets up their tents.
Well, I guess if you go through, you may need to go through fast. So that you don't lose your 4Runner. I'm not 4Runner, 4-wheeler. Yeah. Sorry. I wasn't driving a 4Runner through there. Although that may have worked later. I didn't think about it.
So you think he should play?
Yeah. Realtor Locke Ward should play in the Northeast Jackson Kickball League.
I'm scared he's going to be better than everyone.
He's a good athlete.
I know. It's coming more
I hate
and more
to give him credit because I love messing with him. He's a hell of a tennis player, among other sports.
He's going to run circles around us, obviously. He's in better shape than we are. We know that.
I mean, he walked on the Ole Miss tennis team. You gotta have some stuff.
Yes.
And if he'd have grown up now where you get a coach when you're 5 years old, I don't know what would have happened. Ricky Bobby says it's a walking trail now from Belhaven to the fields. Goes through the old golf course. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. No, it was a 4-wheeler, my man. It wasn't a 3-wheeler, even back then. Now it may have been one of the first ones in the metro area. I don't know what year this was, 1984, but yeah, we had a 4-wheeler.
Did you ever ride a 3-wheeler?
Oh yeah.
Okay. See, I missed that. They became real dangerous.
Well, no doubt.
Oh, they are. I don't want to say it like that, but yeah, they became somewhat extinct during my childhood.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never rode one.
We're live in the Bank Plus studio, the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone, brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi. This is a call to action this morning. We need to know how committed your high school football team is.
Yeah.
And if you're willing to eat off the floor on Thursday nights.
Really simple.
I think a lot of moms are going to be fine with it. Some may not. If you do have chicken spaghetti, that's fine. You can eat it out of a bowl. You just need to be on the floor. But if you have protein, you can just, You can go plate on the floor, or you can just grab that ribeye and that bone-in pork chop, one in each hand. But that's what Thursday night should be to go into Friday Night Lights. We'll have Madison Ridgeland Academy football on ESPN 105.9, The Zone, all year, MRA football. They're playing the toughest schedule in the state of Mississippi. Yeah. Toughest schedule in the state. We pull that up?
Sure will.
So Herbert has scheduled 4 powerhouse non-conference teams. And we'll see how this goes. But I wouldn't, but I get it. I mean, one, yeah, but the deal is Jay, Prep, and Hartfield aren't playing close to this type of schedule.
Nowhere near it.
And
be rail it for you.
Yeah, go. Tell me. All right, August 22nd, this Friday night, Madison Ridgeland Academy Friday Night Lights, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Who is it? Ravenwood or
hosting
something?
Ravenwood.
Yeah, they're a hell of a football team.
Yeah, it's a national program.
Yes, I have some friends. So I just had lunch last month, or I don't remember, June or July. I met some friends from Nashville who came into Levy's camp, and some of the kids were tied to that program. Go ahead.
Okay. So obviously they host Ravenwood on the 22nd, then they host Jefferson Davis County on the 29th.
Okay, so we know how they roll.
Why they scheduled that?
May have the best. I mean, Herbert's one of them too. May have the best high school football coach in the state of Mississippi. All right, go ahead.
Go to
He's
Hartfield.
been winning forever.
He has been. Then they go to Hartfield.
Well, Hartfield's back-to-back titles. Go ahead.
Man, at Collierville after that.
Okay, Collierville is a hell of a football team. It's a big school that Mississippi State and Ole Miss recruit students from.
Right.
Wilkes has a ton of Collierville buddies up at school. Go ahead. And we hosted a bunch of them the one year for Thanksgiving when all the out-of-state kids stayed in town.
This is brutal. Then they host Prep after Collierville. Then they go
Prep's always good. So just check that box.
Yeah. Then they go to JA.
They're in the top 3 of most successful football programs in the state of Mississippi.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
They still don't have a bye week. Then they go to JA.
Okay, Jay's considered the favorite this year for the first time in a long time.
Yes.
They've hired a hell of a coach. They got some kids to come in, and they're ready to roll.
They go to Catholic.
That's another one.
Okay, I don't know anything about Catholic.
Yeah.
That's one of the big guys. Mm-hmm. What in the world?
So as far as strength of schedule, it's brutal.
Yeah, I mean, then they host Park Lane.
Okay.
Host Brookhaven, and then go to Simpson Academy.
Okay, so there you go. And then they get into playoffs. So the call to action this morning is through this Kirby Smart soundbite, and it's beautiful. And we want to know if you're on board with your high school football. And I think the cheerleaders need to commit. They need to eat off the floor.
Yeah.
The dance team, the coaches,
band,
booster club committee, whatever. Yeah, the band.
I mean, sign them up.
It needs to be the whole crew. But this is what we're playing off of this morning. This is the soundbite.
We have a saying around our place: we eat off the floor. And if you're willing to eat off the floor, you can be special.
And if you're not willing to be special.
No.
So I need to know how committed you are as a program. By the way, shout out to Toby Collins. So it's in my car. I traveled with the helmets last week to Pearl River Resort to do the show from Dancing Rabbit Golf.
Fixed it.
And Toby, the Madison Central Stadium is right here.
It's right there.
It's right in our backyard. We're above Beagle Bagel in Madison. Go get you a bagel sandwich from Mark and Sally. So we have a Tito's helmet. A lot of you have seen it. Last week I carried the Ole Miss powder blue helmet, the Auburn helmet, and the Tito's vodka helmet to Dancing Rabbit Golf Club to do the remote. There is no rhyme or reason for why, like people always ask, I just grab helmets and roll. Well, the Tito's helmet had come apart.
It's probably the most used, right?
Yeah, it goes on the most road trips.
Right.
And I took it down to the club, to the field house at Madison Central. And Toby was kind enough to take it and give it to his equipment guy, and they put the thing back together.
I'm eager to see it.
It's awesome.
It's been a while.
All right, I'll go get it during the break. I've got the LSU helmet on the set right now.
Yeah.
So if any of our listeners want to watch the show on YouTube, go to Out of Bounds Sports. That's our YouTube page, Out of Bounds Sports. And I'm going to switch the LSU helmet for the Tito's helmet at 8 a.m.
It's back in action.
But thanks to Toby and his staff for putting it together. And because it had, you know how you can get logos. I could do an Out of Bounds logo on a helmet. Yeah. You can do Northeast Jackson Kickball League. You can do, Fowler GMC on a helmet, Rick's Pro Truck on a helmet, whatever. So Tito's sent us a couple of helmets over the years, and I think it's a fun way to travel and so on.
I'm surprised they don't have a visor out there yet. They have those real cool visors that you can do in all kind of different deals now. Oh, she can OOB visor.
Yeah. Let's see. Jordan's talking about eating off the floor. Okay. He's talking about JA recruiting, but we've already been through that. If you want to win, you got to do what you got to do. Everybody has recruited.
Yeah.
Some more than others, depending on the year. But JA is the favorite to win it. And then, we'll see what Hartfield and Prep and MRA do. Brad, going back to what I was talking about as far as graduating and when, Brad on the text line says, I ended up staying at Ole Miss one more semester, and it was Eli's senior year, the fall of 2003. Well, you made the right call.
Yeah.
That was my first year on sports talk radio in Jackson. No, that was my first month. I started October 1st, 2003.
Sheesh.
That was Eli Manning's senior year. Ole Miss started rolling after about the third or fourth. They lost to Memphis. And they rolled for 6 or 7 games in a row, which led to the LSU game in Vaught-Hemingway with Nick Saban's defense, who had gone to win the national championship. But Saber's defense against Eli Manning and David Cutcliffe. And LSU prevailed, went on to the SEC championship game and won it. I want to say they won it in the Sugar Bowl, but in their backyard there in Baton Rouge. But I can't remember where the national championship game was that year. And I want to say that was a split national championship with Southern Cal.
Sure was.
And we didn't get, because of the way things were set up then, we didn't get an LSU Southern Cal game.
We did not.
Which would have been great because Southern Cal played in the Pac-10, which was super weak at that time, but they had a really good team. But the second best team at that time was Cal Berkeley and Aaron Rodgers. Think about that for a second. And they were more of a high-flying act. Now, they were good on D. Don't get me wrong. Carroll's a defensive guy. They had some excellent defensive coaches. But I would have loved to have watched the line of scrimmage in a game like that. What was that? Do you have who played who?
They surely were at the Sugar Bowl with Oklahoma.
Oh, they beat Bob Stoops.
Yeah, no, Jason White.
Jason White won the Heisman over Eli Manning. Doesn't really make a lot of sense, but they won a few more games, and Oklahoma's a bigger brand. And it was Eli.
You know who it was on the third one?
Fitzgerald?
Yes, sir.
Okay, who's going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame next summer with Drew Brees. Those two guys are slam dunks. Yeah. So it was Jason White, Eli Manning, and Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Wide receiver from Pitt?
Pitt.
Okay.
How in the world? I don't know.
Okay.
You watch much
Larry
Pitt
Fitzgerald, football? Eli Manning, Jason White.
That's it. And they got it wrong. Jason White wasn't that good.
No, it should have gone to Eli.
Yeah, yeah.
If they don't lose to Memphis, I think Eli wins it.
I'm going to assume Oklahoma was undefeated that year.
Did they lose to Texas Tech? I was at that game, but I don't remember if it was 03. Mike Leach, Wes Welker was on the field. It was 56-51. I want to say it was 2003, and Ole Miss lost to Texas Tech. I think if they win one of those two games, Eli wins the Heisman.
Wow.
But it was an absolute battle between Eli and either B.J. Simmons. I think Cliff Kingsbury was gone, and Leach and the Red Raiders beat Ole Miss in Vaught Hemingway in 2003.
Gotcha.
It was a hell of a game. I was there.
Oklahoma's sole loss of that regular season came in the last game of the year, being the Big 12 championship
Against K-State?
K-State.
You know who that is? Bill Snyder. You want to learn how to coach?
Yeah.
Follow the path of Bill Snyder. Good grief. I mean,
show me the money!
Golly.
I'll believe in Auburn and love it. War Eagle.
Hugh Freeze talking about 3 different people calling plays on offense. Has Hugh gone down to Auburn and lost his damn mind? Just call the plays, Hugh. You're a good play caller. Derek Nix doesn't need to call him on first down. Somebody else on second, you on third. Live in the Bank Plus studio. Back in a second.
WRKS Pickens Jackson.
All systems go.
Live from the Whiskey 61 Lounge inside the Bank Plus studio.
This is Out of Order.
Live in the studio.
It's the Out of Bounds Show with Low Bounds. Streaming live worldwide on the Out of Bounds radio app. And on your radio at ESPN 105.9.
All set? Let's go.
The Zone.
Show me the money!
Good morning. Welcome into the Out of Bounds Show. ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Book your golf stay and play right now. Dancing Rabbit Golf Club and the Golden Moon Casino and Sportsbook on the property of Pearl River Resort. PearlRiverResort.com. Book your stay and play. Sportsbook, Philip M. Steaks, golf, table games. PearlRiverResort.com. Good morning. Good morning. Hope you're doing well. We are. I can feel it. I feel the energy on the Golden Moon Casino text line, and I like it. The anticipation and the build-up, the excitement. You love football season. We love football season. There's nothing better than seeing your friends celebrating all the good food, libations, lemonade, Dr. Pepper. Football season is here. Brought to you by the award-winning Elijah Craig Bourbon at Kessler Prime in the Renaissance. KesslerPrime.com to make a reservation. KesslerPrime.com. Steaks, bourbon, wine, private dining rooms. Look, don't sleep on the rack of lamb. If you do, that's on you. I'm just telling you. Rack of lamb, Kessler Prime. Like many of you, I've had it from L.A. to New York and Miami to Vegas. Rack of lamb, Kessler Prime in the Renaissance. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. Bo Bounds, Jackson Meadows with you. We'll have Mike Detillier at 8:30, WWL Radio TV, New Orleans. And I don't think we'll really talk Saints. So I think LSU is more interesting this year because Brian Kelly has had success and he's won a bunch of games. He just hasn't put them, and he's won some big games actually. Now that I think about it, I mean, he's beat Bama and so on. But
Ole Miss last year,
yeah,
that's a big game.
Oh, that was a huge game because
right? Yeah.
Ole Miss was supposed to go down there and win that, and Ole Miss dominated that game. Ole Miss should have pulled away.
That's right.
On several possessions, they had an opportunity. It goes back to what Lane said. Lane nailed it at SEC Media Days. If we can run the football in the fourth quarter, we're in the college football playoffs. And the way the college football was built last year, I think Ole Miss would have had a chance to win the national championship. Now, I know Ohio State had more depth and more talent, but you just don't ever know. But my point in all that with LSU and Brian Kelly is I think that's one of the big stories in the SEC this year is can LSU bounce back and get going? And can Kalen DeBoer and Alabama bounce back and get going? I believe that Alabama is going to be in the college football playoff. I think they're going to bounce back. They had two weird losses that I don't expect to see this year on the road at Vanderbilt, on the road at Oklahoma. Neither one near as good as them. The Oklahoma thing probably gave – Venables wasn't on the hot seat, but probably gave him a little bit of breathing room. He's not going to make it long term, but he's going to get paid a fortune on the way, and we'll kind of see how that all shakes out too in Norman, which, by the way, Ole Miss goes to Norman, which is exciting because I don't think they've ever been to Norman, Oklahoma for a regular season game. So But back to Mike Detillier, we're going to get into Brian Kelly and LSU and what all is on the line. He, like Venables, has, a gazillion dollars left on his contract, so you'd have to really want to get rid of him. And I'm not sure you're ready to go there if you're winning, 9 games a year. So we'll see. His offensive and defensive coordinator duo is not good. And it's weird because Brian Kelly is a really good head coach, but he's super struggling with staffing, which the overwhelming majority of coaches are not Lane Kiffin or Josh Heupel or, Sark. I mean, his staffing ability's pretty incredible. And there's some others. Freeze has got a phenomenal defensive coordinator in DJ Durkin. And Shane Beamer's got an unbelievable defensive coordinator in Clayton White. And now that his offensive coordinator left him last year, Bartu believes that they had a major upgrade in Columbia, South Carolina at OC in Mike Shula, who used Don Shula's son and longtime NFL assistant and former Alabama head coach. He's just, I think Shula's in the right spot. He's an OC and be good at that. You're basically an EVP, nothing wrong with it. You run a division of the team that's vital and very important. And not everybody's a head coach. I mean, I think Mike Shula ran into what Joe Moorhead ran into. Job's too big for him. What Chris Lamonis ran into Mississippi State baseball. Love Chris. I just think the job was a little too big. We'll see with Jeff Levy that, the verdict is still out for some. It's only one coach has survived going 2-10 to turn it around in the 2000s. And that's Luke Fickell, who was at Cincinnati and then made the move to Wisconsin. So it's rare.
He's the only one.
Levy was -5 coach effect last year. Toledo and Arizona State, and Florida, Missouri, and Arkansas were all, if you're favored through coaching, recruiting, home field advantage, it's a combo. And you can still get a -1 coach effect on the road, which Mississippi State did against Arizona State because they out-recruited Arizona State by 30 spots. But let's go back to Brian Kelly and LSU, Mike Detillier at 8:30. They start off. Now, I will say this: they're athletic directors, and I don't know who's done what because they went from Oliva to Woodard or whatever his name is. Have not done Brian Kelly any favors by scheduling like big time Power 4 opponents, Florida State, especially 2 years ago with Travis Rogers before he got hurt, right? And now with Clemson. So you would rather start off with Georgia State like Ole Miss or Alabama A&M like Arkansas, or any number of teams, but they're going to go to Clemson in a year where Clemson thinks that this is their best team since 2019 when they lost to Joe Burrow in the national championship. I was there in the Caesars Superdome for Joe Burrow and LSU against Trevor Lawrence and Clemson. So Clemson believes this is their best team since 2019.
Dangerous territory up there.
QB1 says Kenny Dillingham is probably going to join Fickell. He could. Diamond Dave said it was the biggest turnaround. Dilly went 2-10 in his first year at Arizona State. He's got somebody in his program or him. Usually it's somebody which there's nothing wrong with. That means you identified someone. I mean, Lane's done the same thing with Austin Thomas. We'll see if they can keep it going with Billy Glasscock, who's his general manager now. But you find somebody in the program that understands how to set up the portal and identify players, and they landed on Levitt and Scattaboo and several other players. They got a top 15 wide receiver. But don't forget this, because there's been this defeatist mentality set in with the Mississippi State fan base. And for whatever reason, you allow others to define you, which makes no sense. And then you listen to people say that you can't win in football when it's never been easier to win in football. But I got this text even before we started the show this morning, 6:22 this morning. I get a text from a listener, and I like this because this it means this guy's locked in. And he said, Bo, will you talk about the Arizona State game? I don't understand why Mississippi State fans feel like it's a loss. Well, they shouldn't. I mean, if you're a winner, you shouldn't think that's a loss. You have a better roster than Arizona State. It will come. It's not going to come. They are going to have a better quarterback. You have better athletes, and you're bigger on the line of scrimmage, and you've spent more in the portal. Are we out? Okay. I'll continue this conversation in just a second. We got to pay for Jackson, and we'll be back live in the Bank Plus studio. goodness.
A guy named Sliced Bread.
That's who we're all looking for. Good morning. Welcome into the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Yes, you have a better roster than Arizona State. You need to act like it. What else do I need to do here? I mean, you still have Coleman Hutzler. I can't help that. Yeah. But maybe, Mike McIntyre can save this thing. You actually have an SEC defense. And I'll say this about the Mississippi State football team last year. A lot of people, and look, this is natural. A lot of people said, well, if Blake Shapen doesn't go down, then you're talking about some more wins. That's not accurate. You would have averaged 4.5 points per game more with Blake Shapen, which wouldn't have made a difference in any of the games. However, if you had not have been not just dead last in the SEC in defense, but you were like from here to, let me think, Cancun.
Nice.
You were like from where I am in Madison, Mississippi to Cancun, from the 15th worst team. Had you just finished 14th or 15th in defense, this is how far away you were from the 14th and 15th worst defenses in the SEC. Then you win 5 games, possibly 6. You can put it in whatever prompt you want to, whatever perplexity, chat, Grok, whatever. And so you finished 114th in defense. So if they can move that number to 80th, if Mike McIntyre can move your defense to 80th, you win 5 games. You win 5 games. Not last year, this year.
Okay.
Mike McIntyre was not with your team.
Right.
So for our listeners, you didn't make, I mean, you made a move on the Vincent Dancy. You hired him to be like an edge rusher coach or some whatever to help David Turner, because I don't know why he's on the staff. I don't know why Corey Bell's on the staff. I don't know why Coleman Hutzler's on the staff. But anyway, the point is, you hired Mike McIntyre, who has coached for the Cowboys and Bill Parcells. He coached with David Cutcliffe at Ole Miss during those Eli Manning years. He then joined David Cutcliffe again at Duke as defensive coordinator when Duke was actually winning. Yeah. I mean, David went over there and Cut did a good job. Cut finally bought into a dual threat quarterback. He wasn't ready to do that with Michael Spurlock. He wanted a drop back, Peyton Manning, Eli Manning type guy. He finally realized kind of in that 04, 05, 06 range. You know, he had the heart condition, probably got to go to the lake, kind of self-reflect. Cut realized, hold on, if I'm going to take this job at Duke, I can't have a statue in the pocket. I got to have a dude who can run around. That's why, if y'all remember that night about 14 years ago, give or take, Duke almost beat A&M and Johnny Manziel in, I think, the Peach Bowl with a team that they had no business, but Cut had just done enough. But back to Mike McIntyre, who's your senior defensive analyst, but most people believe either is the defensive coordinator or should be. Here's the deal with Levy, though. This may decide his future. He can't wait until a game doesn't go the right way to then insert Mike McIntyre as the DC. That had to have been done 4 weeks ago. I mean, I know Mike's been there since January, or 3 months ago during spring training or whatever. You can't wait and Arizona State beat you and then go to Coleman Hutzler and say you no longer have the reins of the defense. But Mike McIntyre and Paul Rhodes, I know he's a veteran too, but Mike is the best coach on your staff, even though he's not like technically at one of the 10 assistants, but neither is Joe Judge at Ole Miss. And Joe is right there with the headset on. He coaches the quarterbacks. He talks to Lane more than anybody else during a game, but he's considered an analyst. But it doesn't matter. I mean, you can coach you can do whatever the head coach wants you to do. So for you at Mississippi State, when people tell you you can't win, if you believe that, you let them define you, dictate to you, that's on you. That's a defeatist mentality. You have spent over $15 million on this roster. You have athletes. You have to win. You have spent a fortune as far as personnel, salaries. My God, you're paying Coleman Hutzler $1 million a year.
Jeez.
That's highway robbery. But Mike McIntyre, if he can drive you to like 13th best defense in the league, I'm not going overboard here. I'm not saying you got to get to 9th. If he can drive you to the 13th best defense in the league, let's say you finish 80th in defensive scoring efficiency compared to 114th, and the offense can do anything, you should win 5 games.
Yeah, so you're saying if they,
I don't know which 5, but you should win 5 games.
Right.
Even with that, I get the one pass I give Levy is the schedule. He didn't have anything to do with it.
Sure.
What the SEC did to 5 of those teams is criminal. You were one of them. But again, the other teams in the league don't care, including Ole Miss. They're like, yes, we have an easy schedule. We love it.
Yeah.
Look, if Mississippi State had an Ole Miss schedule, they'd be going bowling. But, you have people kind of go back and forth running the numbers between MSU and Florida. But I just read this morning, one of these analytics guys said Mississippi State, he had them as the toughest schedule in the conference with Florida second. Now, Oklahoma's up there because, Oklahoma's playing Notre Dame.
Yeah.
You're playing Arizona State at home. Stop acting like Arizona State's world beaters because they had a fabulous year last year. I saw that game. I saw them in the line of scrimmage. They're not that big, daunting, and intimidating. They're still built like a Big 12 team. You should, if you can run the football and stop the run, even if Levitt gets a couple of plays on you. If you run the football like I think you can, and you actually started running the football last year at the end of the year, but this year you should be much better. You added some pieces. You spent a fortune in the portal on the offensive line, which you should have. If you can run the football and stop the run, 4-0. Arizona State's a dub. You have a better roster. You out-recruit them by 30 spots. Let's say that you out-recruit Arizona. Actually, it's over 30. By over 30 spots, and you spent more in the portal. And your defense is dominating your offense in the scrimmages, which I actually think is good.
Yeah.
I think that's good. That gives you a chance to get to 5. And people are talking about how Tennessee is not, they're not going to be as good as last year. Are they going to be good? Yeah. But there's like 33 different tiers of being good in college football. We are the Out of Bounds Show. We're driven by your next GMC Sierra truck and GMC Yukon at Fowler GMC, Pearl Brandon, right there on the line. FowlerGMC.com, pre-owned and new trucks, SUVs, locally owned. Fowler GMC, Sierra trucks and Yukons. The Out of Bounds Show, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Mike Detillier coming up next. We'll talk LSU football. Man, this is a monster game to go along with Texas at Ohio State. LSU at Clemson, week 1. Brian Kelly versus Dabo Swinney. And Garrett Nussmeier, quarterback for LSU, against Cade Klubnik for Clemson. Clemson believes they have 4 first-round picks on their team. We are the Out of Bounds Show. We're driven by your next spray-in bedliners and lift kits, tires and wheels. Rick's Pro Truck, 3 locations. All right. LSU, baby. Them Tigers. They're ready to get back in the mix. That would be the college football playoff. Good morning. Welcome in. We are the Out of Bounds Show. ESPN 105.9 The Zone. We're brought to you by Hartley Equipment in Gluckstadt. Mahindra Tractors. For those, 10, 20, 40 acres you need to manage. Hartley Equipment, Gluckstadt. Zero-turn lawnmowers. Exmark, Bad Boy, and Skag. Zero-turn lawnmowers powered by Hartley Equipment in Gluckstadt. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. 105.9 The Zone ESPN. Our friend Mike Detillier, Mike D, joins us. WWL Radio TV New Orleans. And he joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Mike, all the different news and notes and information and people you've talked to out of the LSU camp the last 3 weeks, what is the one thing that has jumped out at you as we head into the season?
The defense is going to be considerably better because of them hitting the transfer portal hard. They're better up front along the defensive line and in the secondary. Their two starting safeties are both transfer portal guys. A.J. Halsey and Cooley comes in, to Marcus Cooley, North Carolina State guy. Halsey's from Houston. Both those guys basically walked on campus. They're the starters. And then, getting better up front with Patrick Payton, with young man Jack Pyburn from Florida. They've recruited pretty good along the defensive line. Those guys are matured up there. Again, you got Whit Weeks and Hal Perkins at linebacker. So, man, you're going to be better on the defensive side of football. And this was not a good LSU defense the last 3 years, to be honest. And even the final year with Coach O, they weren't very good either. So I think what you're going to see is a much better defense from LSU. And Blake Baker, he's the right guy for this defense. And so that, I think, will be a big positive for LSU.
Do you think, are you leaning LSU or Clemson in this one?
Clemson. I'll always take the home team in a situation like that. I do think it's close. Talent-wise, they both have experienced quarterbacks and two real good ones in Klubnik and Nussmeier. Big question mark for me is, can LSU block Peter Woods and T.J. Parker up front and not to have them cause havoc? Clemson gave up a lot in the rushing game last year, but LSU got 4 new starting offensive linemen. So I'm not sure about all that. And again, till Brian Kelly wins game 1, you got to kind of prove it that now eventually he's going to do it, but eventually he's going to win one. But man, it is razor close between these two teams, and I always think that home field advantage gives you a little bit of something extra.
I agree with that, especially early. Fair enough. Mike Detillier on the Out of Bounds Show. However, Mike, and I know at least Garrett has had a year starting under his belt. And he's been in some SEC road games. At least that's a positive for LSU that he's got a whole year under his belt, right? And played pretty damn well.
Yeah, and, also, too, I'm always concerned about the center position for any college team because they're the orchestra leader up front. And they brought in Braylon Moore, who was at Virginia Tech. He was a starter there. So he's not going to be intimidated, being on the road because he's been there, done that. But the two guard spots, and, you got 2 new starting tackles now, Emory Jones and Will Campbell are in the NFL. So, man, for LSU, it's a tough start, and you can make a strong argument about this. Clemson's the toughest team LSU will play all year long, and LSU will be Clemson's toughest opponent all year long in the regular season.
Fair enough. I guess Bama or Clemson is what you're thinking, right?
I think, yeah, just because of the history with LSU and Alabama, and it hadn't been great for LSU. So that's always going to be tough. But thank God they don't have to play Jalen Milroe no more. I saw him in Seattle, so his eligibility's up. But that dude, man, and one day he's going to go into College Football's Hall of Fame. And, I know a couple people that are involved with Jalen agent-wise. And I told him, all you got to do is pick out the 3 years that he played against LSU. I mean, it was like two-hand touch. And even there, if it was flag football, he'd have scored every time. I mean, they barely put a glove on him. You don't have to play him. And I think that's the big question. I'll be honest with you, Bo. Had Garrett Nussmeier been, let's say he's on Alabama's team, I'd have picked Alabama to win the national championship. I think they're that good. But we know anything about Ty at this stage? He's not seen a lot of action, and how he reacts to a big game situation. You can say, well, I'm on the sidelines, I was watching, I've looked good in practice. Man, that ain't like playing. It's not like playing in those big games. And I don't think Alabama's going to be really good this year, but in those tight games, can Ty, make things happen in the passing game, because they loaded that wide receiver. They got a really good offensive line. Got a bevy of backs, even though they lost one for 6 to 8 weeks with a shoulder injury. But, man, defensively, they are really good, too. It's just going to be about the quarterback spot.
Okay. Yeah, I think Bama's going to bounce back, Mike D. I think they're going to I like their schedule. I think they're going to the college football playoff at 10-2. And I think getting Ryan Grubb back, he spent the year with the Seattle Seahawks, as you know. And I think Kalen DeBoer getting Ryan Grubb back as his offensive coordinator, and Ty is more of what they want at the QB position, even though Milroe was very talented. I think that's a good recipe for success. Now, with LSU, I think your offensive coordinator is super weak. And, Denbrock or whatever that went back to Notre Dame, he was a hell of an OC. And I don't think Brian Kelly is staffed quite at the level that he should. But you've got so much talent, they may be able to overcome it. So we'll see.
Well, I agree with you on Denbrock. He was an unsung guy here, especially year one with Brian Kelly. I think a lot of people forget this team went to the SEC championship game.
Yeah.
And it was Denbrock who sort of got the sander and smoothed out a lot of the rough spots in Jaden Daniels' game. Even Jaden brings that up, that Denbrock played a big part in that, in helping him develop as a quarterback. And, with Joe Sloan, he had done it at Louisiana Tech, but man, last year, them not being able to run the football was a disappointment, because you have, two NFL guys at the tackles, two NFL guys that are playing at guard, and, you couldn't run the football to save your life. They kind of ran into one another. The system didn't quite fit, and maybe Joe has learned from that. And we all know one thing about Brian Kelly. He has stuck fingers, toes, any other body part you want into play calling too.
Yeah. Yeah, this is intriguing to me, Mike D, because the expectations that Saban put in place and Miles and Ogeron were able to capitalize and so on. So the run that LSU has been on has been pretty damn magical. But Brian, he's won a lot of games. He just hasn't won, enough for everybody in Baton Rouge to celebrate. But you mentioned this last year. He's got so much money on his contract. I think even if he throws up another 9-win season, which doesn't do a whole lot for LSU fans, I still don't see. I mean, I still see him continuing on, right, in Baton Rouge.
I agree. That you money caught in this spot here, and you just basically finished paying off Coach O because he took the long-term plan on that. And matter of fact, we're going to have Coach O on tonight with us on Sports Talk. He's coming on tonight. So
hold on now. He mentioned over the weekend. I know you talked to him. I mean, y'all been friends forever. So you talked to him off the air and on the air. But he made the comment that now he's getting the itch again to coach. Are you buying this, Mike D?
Yeah, because you see, I never heard him say that before. Never. And all that time, he had left LSU, and he was out there. And I know there were some college teams and one pro team that approached him, and he wasn't interested. And then we did the Bayou Hall of Fame, and he made a comment to me, man, you know, I miss coaching for the first time. And I said, here we go now. And, you know, if South Bend was actually in the South, I think he'd be coaching at Notre Dame today. But he don't like the cold weather. You know, because him and Marcus Freeman are really tight, really close friends. So I think for the first time, he is legitimately interested in getting back into coaching. And I'd say 6 months ago, I would have told you that wasn't going to happen.
But so once you've been the man, whether you're a head coach or not, I mean, coordinator positions are amazing too. But once you've been the guy and he won a national championship at LSU, where do you see the? I mean, I don't think he wants to be an assistant coach. I don't know how many people are going to give him an opportunity to be a head coach. Maybe a G5. I mean, are you thinking he could? Now, look, this guy's a salesman. You know that. He has been a hell of a recruiter his whole life. You know this better than anybody. I mean, can he parlay all that back into a P4 job, Mike D? Or are you thinking G5 head coach, or he's going to be an assistant? Which way are we going here?
You know, I really don't know that. I would have said that I thought he'd have come back as an assistant coach. But, you know, I think that 2019 season always is on that resume. And that will get somebody's attention. You know, and where that's at, that one I couldn't tell you.
I got one for you, Mike D. Let me line this up for you. Mike Detillier on the Out of Bounds show. This is fun because he's close to Ed Ogeron and has covered him. If John Summerall takes a job, how about Eddie O coming back to New Orleans and the head coach for the Tulane Green Wave? If Summerall, because Summerall is going to be the hot, if they can even win 6 or 7 games from what he's done at Troy and Tulane, he's going to be the hot name. If Pittman goes, Levy or somebody else. What about Eddie O to Tulane?
I'll be honest with you. I think Summerall's team at Tulane is going to win double digits.
Nice.
I think he has the quarterback now.
Yeah.
And Ratzloff, he's been on with us so many times. And it was funny, right after the spring, I could hear it in his voice talking about his defense, even though I think he only returns like 4 guys on defense. But he went on and on about, you know, I'm really excited about what I got defensively. And I could hear it in his voice. Just how excited he was. And you're right. He's going to be a hot commodity. Actually, I thought they were going to lose him last year to North Carolina. I think the Belichick thing caught everybody a little bit off guard that, you know, come on, weeks earlier, you would have never guessed that Belichick would want to coach again and at the collegiate level. So I do think he's going to have opportunities away from Tulane. I think there was a bit of a distraction last year late, and they sort of folded up. And also the quarterback, Darian Mensah, telling everybody that he was leaving. So you not only had the coach that was heavily pursued by North Carolina, you lost your starting quarterback, but he was telling everybody weeks before he left he was gone. So I agree. Also, too, Ed's son, Tyler, coaches on the Tulane coaching staff. He's the tight ends coach.
Oh.
Yeah, Tyler's been there, coaches the tight end. And so Ed's there at practice quite a bit. In fact, we had Coach Summerall on last Thursday, and he was like, "Hey, how come you don't come to the practices anymore?" And I was like, "Coach, I'm still kind of rehabbing my knee and everything. I can't stand for a long, long period of time. I'll be out in the heat." And he's like, "I let anybody in practice." Coach Ogeron and Bobby April, who longtime special teams coach who went to Tulane, they were there that day. So I got where he was going with it. But yeah, it would be an interesting deal. He knows the area. Man, he can recruit. Good Lord. You talk about a guy who's relentless in recruiting. And I've had guys from on the Bayou that he recruited, and they were getting calls in Texas from Coach O like 3:30, 3:45 in the morning. He when he wanted somebody, he really wanted them, and man, he was relentless in recruiting. Again, he's got to build a good staff, and I think he learned that 2019 team when he had Steve Ensminger, Joe Brady, that offensive staff was really good. I mean, you had talent, but the coaching went along with it. And then when Brady left and they had to change the defensive coordinator, no Dave Aranda anymore, he wasn't the same coach. He was not. And I think he learned from that. They had talent at LSU. Come on, they were recruiting well. It's just that the coaching didn't match up. And I think there were some distractions. And I told him, you didn't handle success well. And he just laughed. He's like, I couldn't argue with you.
Wow. Okay, so Eddie O talking about getting back in after making a fortune in the buyout at LSU. Mike D and I think Tulane could be an opportunity if John Summerall, for our listeners, John Summerall's the head coach at Tulane. Watch out. If they have a big year, it's going to be a bidding war for him, depending on.
Not only is he a good coach, I think he's a great coach.
Okay.
I'm just telling you, there's going to be a Southeast Conference team, and I don't know if it's Kentucky, and certainly he's got ties there to Kentucky, or any team that's looking to make a move. Man, he's got the personality, and now look what he did at Troy, and look what he's done at Tulane. He is going to be a super hot commodity. But I think he learned from last year in this kind of footsie stuff with North Carolina, kind of pick your spot that you want to go to. Because a lot of times coaches leave and they say, well, it's money. And listen, money's always going to be there for a coach of his ilk, but the right fit. And I think for Summerall, that's the right one. He's a great recruiter. Tulane's academic standards, man, it's tough to get in at Tulane. It's not like going in some of the other schools. It's a much tougher academic situation, but he's been able to work that extremely well and develop players. I'll never forget in doing stuff in years past, Saban would always talk about this, recruit and develop. And he would always say about R&D. There's a lot of guys that can recruit, but they can't develop players. What I'm looking for is assistant coaches that can recruit and then the D part of it, develop players. Because he said that is a big part of winning at the collegiate level.
Yeah.
And John Summerall can do it. I'm just telling you, and not just because he's here, but he is he's one of the best young coaches I've seen come down the pike. I really believe that.
I agree. Mississippi State had a chance to hire him. Hell, Summerall thought he had the job. And so we'll see what happens with Levy in year two, but Summerall will be, courted. We'll see what happens in Arkansas. Summerall's already tied to Kentucky, even though Stoops has a ton of money left on his contract. We'll see where that goes this year. And then Venables, although he has a bunch of money left on, maybe $45 million on his contract, he's not the answer either. Summerall he'd be vicious at Oklahoma. Woo!
Just think, there is a wild card in this other than Summerall. John Gruden.
Oh, that'd be a disaster, but it'd be fun for you and I in the media.
Would it be? But I'm just telling you, I think like Ed has the itch to become a coach again. Mm. You listen to John Gruden. He's saying the exact same thing. Mm-hmm. The exact same thing. And it's hard. I heard Bill Parcells say this, that, coaching is like a narcotic, that you can never get it out of your system.
Yeah.
Now, once you're in it, it's difficult to walk away from it. Mm-hmm. And even though since he got fired at LSU, Ed had always said, hey, I'm content. I did my time. I don't know if I can reach young players anymore to motivate them the way the world is. I think, you always believe you can.
Hell yeah.
And that, I know he can recruit well.
Yeah.
And that particular part. And Gruden will do really well in recruiting too. Man, listen, if Belichick can do it, I know John Gruden can do it. And anytime John Gruden would walk into someone's home, he don't have to give them a card to tell them who he is.
No.
Okay? They got some coaches, if they walk in somebody's living room, they got to introduce themselves. Here's the thing about Coach O and John Gruden. They don't have to do it.
No.
Everybody knows who they are.
Yeah. Look, I Coach O in the right situation could work. I don't see how he can be an assistant coach after being a head coach, but maybe. And then you're right on Gruden. A desperate team may, hopefully not my Mississippi State Bulldogs, but a desperate team may do that. Man, North Carolina and Mississippi State whiffed big, not hiring John Summerall, but and North Carolina had Dan Mullen or John Summerall teed up, and they went with Belichick. But we'll see how it all. Again, it's going to be fun for people like Mike and I because we get to cover it, follow it, and see what they can and can't do. All right, Mike D. Next time we have you on, it will be week 1 going into Texas at Ohio State and LSU at Clemson and Bama at FSU and all the other games that we have on the slate. So be good, my man. Have a great week.
Thank you both. Let's say the Lord keep me alive that I could watch it at week 1, okay? Because that's the big thing. Man, we've waited so long for football to come back, and it's right there for us.
You're going to be with us. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks, Mike D.
Thank you, buddy.
At Mike Detillier, he's the best. WWL Radio TV New Orleans. He joined us on the Farm Bureau Insurance Guest Line. Bundle your auto and home and save with your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent in any of the 82 counties in Mississippi. Oh, thank the Lord, right? Football season is here, and we are ready.
I'll believe in Auburn and love it. War Eagle.
Say, kids, what time is it?
It's 9 a.m. and this ain't no K show. It's the Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds.
On aboard!
As Mississippi's #1 morning show rolls on the Zone 105.9 and online at thezone1059.com.
Good morning. Welcome into the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. And the show is brought to you by Rick's Pro Truck. Spray and bed liners and lift kits, 3 locations. And don't forget about RPT Commercial. They're rolling. Actually, we've done a couple of shows from there. RPT Commercial in Pearl. RicksProTruck.com. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. I'm your host, Bo Bounds. Yes, somebody asked, did Coach O really say? Yeah. Over the weekend, Coach O said, I have the itch to get back into coaching again. And so he did it right at the right time because we'll have some guys get on the hot seat over the next couple of months. And you kind of see what shakes out. Coach O at Tulane. If John Summerall takes a bigger, better job, Summerall may be the highly coveted guy out there. I don't know who else. I don't know of a blue blood coming open. I mean, Eddie O's not going to get a blue blood job, but I'm talking about Summerall winning his way out of Tulane. For our listeners, by the way, Ole Miss plays Tulane week 4 or something. Let me look at that. It is week 4. Georgia State at home, at Kentucky for Ole Miss, host Arkansas, and Tulane at home, and then LSU at home. Ole Miss goes 3 at home, 3 in a row at home in September. Mississippi State goes 4 in a row at home. Those will be good. You get to take some basically sauna-style baths in the Grove and the Junction. I guess that's what they need. They need like cold plunges in the Grove and the Junction.
Golly.
Just jump in, jump back out.
You'd be dry fast.
Grab you a beverage and keep on rolling with the conversation.
Hey, a cold plunge would actually be a really good thing to have out there.
Yeah. All right. We're streaming live on the Out of Bounds radio app, and the show is brought to you by Mississippi Smart Homes. Jake Manning. If you want an unbelievable football TV watching experience, movies, and when you listen to Spotify or whatever music, I listen to Spotify when I'm at the house. You want to call Mississippi Smart Homes and Jake Manning today. MSSmartHomes.com. They do the Sonos surround sound system. It's awesome. We have it in 2 different places in our house. It's great. Sonos surround sound system makes your football, basketball, March Madness, movies, and music that much better. MSSmartHomes.com. MSSmartHomes.com. Their new showroom floor and office is right behind Kralaka's and Went McGee, the mortgage man, right behind there on Jackson Avenue. That's where MS Smart Homes is. All right? So go see them. They got a great showroom floor. They can show you how to make your home smart. MSSmartHomes.com. And Went McGee is the mortgage man. MortgageManMS.com. He'll shop the best rates for you, get the deal done, get you qualified so you can get in that condo or house here or in Bay St. Louis or in Starkville or Oxford or whatever you're doing. The mortgage man, Went McGee. Mortgage man, Went McGee, baby. He's ready for football too. All right. A couple of different ways that you can get in touch with us. The Golden Moon Casino text line, 601-885-3776. Twitter X at Bo Bounds. Tennessee fans have calmed down a little bit on my Twitter feed at Bo Bounds, but they were fired up on Sunday when I said that game should be in play for Mississippi State. Doesn't mean they'll be the favorite, but it should be in play. If you're a winner, you have a winning mentality, you've done what you're supposed to do, both as a fan and a program, then Tennessee at home in Starkville should be in play. The Mango Cart caller line is 601-707-3750. 601-707-3750. It's it's National Potato Day. Potatoes go with football season.
Oh, yeah.
Potato skins, potato logs, baked potatoes at the house with the steak, rack of lamb. I love a baked sweet potato. I love baked potatoes, but sweet potatoes are great. We love fries, sweet potato fries. I tell you what else. The saffron chowder at Philip M's has potatoes in it.
It does.
And it's along with seafood. And the famous saffron chowder at Philip M's has potatoes in it.
You're skipping the most important potato.
Which one?
Couch potato.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's football season, man. You get to go couch potato mode.
I do that. I don't do well at that, as Wendy will tell you, but when it comes to football, I'm in. Now, I like to stand up and watch too.
Me too.
And I've got like 3 different areas. I've got my man room, obviously the living area, kitchen area, and then down at the boathouse. So I'll have all 3 going. I may have to I just like to roam around.
Yeah, you got to go one station to another.
That's right. Just depends on what I'm doing.
The flow.
All right. So what is your favorite potato?
Oh.
Like what food? I mean, is it French fries? Is it mashed potatoes? Is it potatoes au gratin? Is it a baked potato? Is it hash browns? Potato salad.
Oh.
Aren't you a big potato salad guy?
Oh.
It's football season.
No.
Me neither.
That can't be. It's going to be in the Junction and in the Grove early, and it just shouldn't be.
All right. Oh, we did this last year and the year before. We've got to get back locked in. Hold on. Let me do this real quick.
Show me the money!
All right, here we go. We got to get locked in.
Hit me.
Everybody has to get in a no mayo zone.
Yeah, we're back.
Mayo doesn't travel. Don't get mayo on any of your sandwiches in the Junction or the Grove. None.
No.
Also, we have totally changed the game for pharmaceutical reps. You can't order mayonnaise on your mayonnaise doesn't travel. So and I think it's that's great. You're ordering all kinds of stuff from like Beagle Bagel, right here in Madison. We're above them. We have to be trained to be in a no mayo zone. Like you have to be trained not to jump off sides.
Yes.
Especially in the red zone. But we have to all be trained. We're in a no mayo zone. No mayo.
We need to just
and really doesn't work till like October 20th. Later. I mean, I don't need it anyway, but October 20th, probably even later. November 1 when it starts to get cool but mayo on all right, let me give you the first few Saturdays. August 30th. Ole Miss is at home.
No mayonnaise.
No mayonnaise. The next week, Mississippi State's at home. No mayonnaise. It's hold on. I can't even see anymore. It's pitiful.
I mean, it's going to be 98.
September 6th, Mississippi State hosts Arizona State. No mayonnaise. September 13th, both teams have home games against Arkansas and Alcorn State. No mayo.
Nope.
Next week, both teams have home games against Tulane and Northern Illinois. No mayo. And then the next week, the two teams have home games against LSU and Tennessee. God, that's a big week.
Yeah.
That is a big week in the state of Mississippi. LSU and Tennessee come in to town September 27th. No mayo zone in your tailgate. Tell me that you've confirmed this. The text line, 601-885-3776. If you need French drains or foundation repairs, and they're usually tied together, but French drains or foundation repairs, Superior. Superior Foundation, superior.ms. Hit them up right now. goodness. Good morning. Our tailgating discussion is brought to you by Fleetway Market and the Market Cafe in Gluckstadt. Fresh smoked meats daily, breakfast and lunch, Fleetway Market and the Market Cafe in Gluckstadt. We are the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Breakfast biscuits right now, Fleetway Market, the Market Cafe in Gluckstadt. They'll have blue plates. They'll have grab-and-go sandwiches and salads a little bit later in the morning for lunch and during lunchtime. Unbelievable selection of beer at Fleetway Market and the Market Cafe in Gluckstadt, including Mango Cart, which is delicious, Kona Big Wave, Stella Artois, and Michelob Ultra. And Key City Beer, baby, out of Vicksburg. Jack Bourgeois. He had a birthday a couple weeks ago. We got to get him in. He's got to cook us something. Maybe he'll cook us a potato.
Nice.
Some kind of food with potatoes in it. But Key City Beer, Mississippi Queen, Mi Vida, Spring Street Cigars in Jackson, in the building where the Rogue is. They have Key City Mi Vida on tap. I've had it. It's delicious. Key City, that's their Mexican cerveza or lager. And Key City Mi Vida, Mivida, Key City, locally owned, Vicksburg, Mississippi, delicious. I was looking at the tailgating food, so it's National Potato Day. First one that pops up is potato skins. They say it's a classic bar and tailgate food. Crispy, and it needs to be crispy. You know, we're going to go through this, but it needs to be crispy. You don't want soggy potato skins. Crispy potato boats filled with cheese, bacon, and sour cream. I can hold the sour cream. No, thank you. They are portable and shareable. They're a great, just pick up and roll. So it's a nice, whether you're at a tailgate or you're hosting at your house, potato skins work. Loaded fries like Martin's and Livingston and McBee's and Burgers, Blues, Barbecue, the awesome elevated bar and grill food, they're doing loaded fries at a whole new level because you could have pulled pork on them and just all kinds of wonderful stuff. Loaded fries are fabulous when you go to your bar and grill in Oxford, Hattiesburg, Starkville, wherever you're going. Loaded fries are great. You don't eat them year round all the time, but man, during football season, there's nothing better than loaded fries at an elevated bar and grill. Hash brown casserole has to be crispy and seared. Love a hash brown casserole. Give me some hot sauce. Give me some, obviously you got to have some black pepper or red pepper or both with some hot sauce and just an ice cold Michelob Ultra or Key City Mi Vida hash brown casserole. Does it get any better mid-morning game day? Somebody's made hash brown casserole and it's right. And you get that on your plate with maybe some scrambled eggs, or you put it with a protein like we were talking about, a little pulled pork or something. You're living right.
It's the perfect complement to a bloody.
Oh, Tito's Vodka Bloody Mary and hash brown casserole?
That's it.
Let's go.
I can do that. Wait, hold on. I got to rewind, though. You said sour cream's a no-go? Is sour cream the same? Or are we putting that in the same category as mayonnaise? It's got to be.
It doesn't travel.
No.
It cannot be consumed in September at a tailgate. I guess you can put it out on the side. I mean, I'm not going to hit it. I don't like sour cream.
No.
But no, I don't like sour cream.
Yeah, so, they do have it on the side. They have that big white tub of it over there.
Every now and then I may, it may get in my way on a nacho plate, and I may get a little bit of it.
On accident.
But I'm not going to freak out, but I don't want sour cream. I don't like it. Potato salads listed here. It's National Potato Day. Perfect going into football season, tailgating food, and what you have at your house. I'm not a potato salad fan, but I get it, and it pairs with barbecue and burgers. Mashed potato bites.
Wait, what now?
Fried, bite-size, and great for walking around a parking lot with a beer. Now, they're referencing NFL.
Yes.
Because most NFL teams tailgate in a parking lot. Mashed potato bites. I've never had them.
Me either. But
I'm in on trying them.
Yeah, because that sounds good, right?
I'm in on trying them.
Ooh, I would love
has
that.
anybody? Let's ask our listeners. We're going to have Steve Robertson next, by the way. We'll talk about Mississippi State and so on.
Haven't we had these?
Mashed potato bites.
These are dope.
Interesting.
A little fried mashed potatoes. And I mean, obviously you can load it with whatever you want, right?
I think of something like Wicker's marinade or any kind of his sauce, but you can load it with all sorts of different things.
Well, you can
barbecue sauces and then you can load it up with meat.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can throw bacon in there, chives.
Bacon. Yeah, that's right. Chives.
Well, I guess they would go on top.
Pulled pork.
Yeah.
Okay. Chili cheese baked potatoes. I like deer meat, hamburger meat in a baked potato with some Mississippi State jalapeno cheese.
Some deer meat in some Mississippi State cheese and a mashed potato fried.
Oh okay.
Man.
You just took it to okay
for the bite.
And then we've got tater tot nachos.
Okay.
Holy hell! So tater tots were garbage food when I was growing up in the 80s and 90s. Okay,
Right.
and then they've like so many things the last 25, 30 years, they've made tater tots into a delicacy.
Yeah.
Some restaurants can pull it off, fry them at first of all, they get high quality potatoes and tater tots, and then they fry them right.
Taters.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. No,
I mean, I like nachos, just regular nachos with a bunch of protein and a bunch of black beans and fun stuff and salsa and cheese, but tater tot nachos, it's a modern favorite.
I'm in.
Tots used instead of chips, loaded with nacho toppings. I could handle that.
Yeah, just a little more.
And then
filling.
sweet potato fries. Love sweet potato fries.
Big.
What is the most popular at tailgates? Loaded fries or tater tot? I'm not a loaded fries guy to tell. That sounds like a lot going on, but maybe.
It's soggy too, though, right?
Yeah, I just don't know how that's gonna carry. And then they say potato salad. I think that can be eliminated. Let's all eliminate potato salad for one football season and see how kind of get the feedback from there. Hash brown waffles?
Wait now.
Oh, hell, I'm in. I haven't had a hash brown waffle.
That does sound good.
Press shredded potatoes in a waffle iron, then top with chili or pulled pork for a handheld upgrade?
Hey.
Dude, I'm in. Pulled pork, hash brown waffle? Damn, let's go. Golly. Okay. Yeah, I'm not a huge potato skins guy, but if they're quality and done well, too many times people overcook potato skins. I don't know what it is. I'm not saying it may be hard to do. I don't do potato skins at home. I just do a baked potato or a sweet potato. Winnie and I love them, and we do them all the time. Now that the kids are gone, you don't have to have a whole lot in your house, and so just kind of roll with that. But I love a baked potato, and I love I actually like a sweet potato, a baked sweet potato.
Yes.
Better than a baked potato,
Yes.
and I like a baked potato a lot.
All right. Well, what's in the sweet potato though? Like, what is it stuffed with here? Are we doing anything? Are we talking about just
No,
plain?
I'm just putting a lot of real butter.
Right.
Not processed.
Right.
Real butter, and I'll do a good bit of red pepper and a lot of black pepper.
No brown cinnamon sugar?
No,
Come
I don't
on.
need it to be. Are you just?
So good.
Are you in a race to get diabetes?
Yeah.
Why would you need brown cinnamon? The sweet
marshmallows.
potato's already got a sweet factor in it.
Come on, ain't
You
sweet
mix in the butter,
Hey, the butter does bring
and
it
you
out.
do a little bit of red pepper flakes,
I do like those.
and you're good.
Can you mash marshmallows? Where they at?
Good hell, I don't want marshmallows in my baked sweet potato.
Come on.
But this hash brown casserole, but the thing that jumped out at me is mashed potato bites with an ice cold Stella Artois. I had an ice cold Budweiser and a cheeseburger at the Briar Patch on Saturday. That's a great place to watch football when you're not in Starkville or Oxford. God, it was so good. Ice cold Budweiser, which is the king of beers, with a cheeseburger with extra pickles. Steve Robertson coming up next. Hey, good morning to you, and happy football season from the Out of Bounds show and our team. We love that you're going to hang out with us this football season. High school, college, NFL, cannot wait. And then just all the experiences, hanging out with friends, tailgating, watching games at your house, good food, and good times. And celebrating. Well, some will celebrate more than others. Some are trying to celebrate more, like the Mississippi State football program, which has been an absolute disaster post Dan Mullen. And there have been some unbelievable how many times they've burned this program down post Dan Mullen and how many poor decisions have been made. However, this is a new season, and you've spent $15+ million on this roster, and we're about to see what Mike McIntyre can do. And if he can save this football program and get some dubs. You should go 4-0. I don't understand why you've got too large a percentage of the fan base who doesn't even believe that they deserve to win. That's not even how I operate or think. Never has been. But it's this defeatist mentality that I don't understand. Then you let other people define you, which makes no sense. I'm not letting other people define me. But you need to think, without question, you should go 4-0. You out-recruit all 4 teams you play, and you out-recruit Arizona State by over 30 spots. You spent way more money in the portal than them, too. Now, I know they're coming off a big year. It's not like, and I give Dillingham credit, but it's not like they've done this 4 years in a row. So we'll see if they can sustain some success out in Tempe. But you're better. You should be bigger in the line of scrimmage. You should have more athletes. The only place that they're better is at quarterback. You should win that game at home. You should be 4-0, and Tennessee is beatable. I'm going to die on that hill. You should be 4-0, period, or people need to answer for their job. And then you should have an awesome opportunity. You should have 63,000 people there for Davis Wade Stadium against Tennessee at home for your 5th game of the year, which is September 27th. We welcome in Steve Robertson, Hail State Insider, the Boneyard Podcast, genespage.com, 247 Sports. Steve joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Steve, in the last 2 or 3 days, what's the one thing you've heard about this 2025 Mississippi State football team that jumped out at you?
Depth. I think that's probably the thing, talking to some people that actually, view the scrimmage, that know what they're talking about. No disrespect to anybody that went and just enjoyed, a sunny day in Starkville. But just the fact that you can rotate so many people and not have a big drop-off, and that was such a big problem last year, especially on the defensive side of the football. And I've said before that, Stone Blanton probably deserves a master's degree, considering that he had the guards he had to fight through just to go make a tackle, and so I don't think this is going to be a trench warfare group that you're going to have to hold your breath every time they take the field. I think you're going to see a lot more, normal type play on the offensive and defensive lines, especially on the defensive line. What we had last year is probably as bad as anything in my lifetime. And all due respect to everybody involved, there was zero depth. And injuries played a part in that. Discipline played a part in that. You lose Dink game 1, and you ended up having to run a couple of guys off, and so that's all part of it. But at the end of the day, as the old adage goes, nobody wants to hear about the birth pangs. They just want to see the baby.
That's right.
They put an ugly baby out there on the field last year.
That's right. No one cares how hard you work. They just want results. So, that's a great way to frame that up. All right, Steve Robertson on the Out of Bounds show. More depth on defense. Is it fair to say that this is going to be Mike McIntyre's defense?
Yeah, I think it's a collaborative effort. I wouldn't want to discount what Paul Rhodes is contributing to this. You're talking to some of our defensive backs, and he's very involved with everything. And I think, again, you got to give Jeff Lovie some credit. He didn't just, quote, run it back with Coleman Hutzler. That was the thing we talked about on your show last year, about halfway through the year, that Hutzler was going to get another year, and there were a lot of people that were kind of hesitant to get on board with that. But I think you got to give Love credit. It's like, we're going to bring him back because we didn't have the personnel. And you and I both know it wasn't just about personnel. It was absolutely not just about personnel.
Sure.
Where there was some mistakes made, alignment decisions, calls, all that goes into it together. But then you go out and get two former Power 5 head coaches, Mike McIntyre and Paul Rhodes, to come help shore up your defense. That's a big boy move. And now we just got to have time to see if this is going to work out. But I think it also puts Leb in an interesting position, too, because you've got some veteran voices in the room that should you need to make a change next year, you've got a couple good candidates perhaps right there that could help.
All right, so here's what I'm hoping. I hope that Mike McIntyre and Paul Rhodes don't hold back in their communication and conversations with Jeff Levy, because obviously Jeff's got to get better quickly. And Coleman Hutzler's not a defensive coordinator, so I'm not even entertaining that. But when they have conversations, Mike and Paul have already made a lot of money, so they can basically say, in my opinion, they can say whatever in the hell they want, but that's actually good for Jeff Levy. How do you see it, Steve?
I absolutely agree with that. I mean, nobody at any level ever succeeds being surrounded by yes men. I mean, right. You need people that have a variety of ideas that are willing to open their mouth for the betterment of your organization. And I think that's what you have there. And, watching those guys in drills, we don't get to see a lot. I mean, they're very active. I mean, it's not like they're just sitting back with a clipboard and just charting plays. I mean, McIntyre go out there and put his hands on somebody and say, okay, listen, this is how I want you to do it. And I think that's an important aspect of this. And I think when you have that level of expertise and experience available to you, you'd be doing yourself and your program a disservice by hoping they'd be quiet. And I just don't think that's the dynamic at all.
Okay, good. All right. So I think they've got a chance. I mean, they were god-awful. They finished 114th last year. I mean, God, if they finish 80th, Steve, I think, that's at least 3 more wins, even with the schedule. If McIntyre and Rhodes, plus all this portal talent, whereas Steve, they've spent millions of dollars in the line of scrimmage and some other spots. With all of that, if they can just move to 80th in red zone scoring efficiency on the defensive side of the football, Steve, I think that's 5-7, and everybody gets to come back for another year. What do you think?
Well, the stat that always jumps out to me is third down efficiency, right? Really on both sides, but mainly on defense. I mean, this team was so abysmal last year at getting off the field, and you need to give Levy and Chapin and those guys as many snaps as you can possibly get. And when they're going 3 and out, that doesn't help matters. But how many times last year? I mean, you look at that Arizona State game, right? You go out there and you have an absolutely terrible first half, but you look up with about 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, it's a 1-score game. You just got to get a stop. But instead, Arizona State just kind of runs down the field and just salts away the last 5:27. What happened? What conversation are we having in college football if Mississippi State gets a 3 and out and goes into Tempe and gets that game? I mean, it's a completely different dynamic. That's how important these things are. I mean, when teams had leads, and I look at Tennessee, I mean, and State went up there and was really an irritant to Tennessee. I mean, you knocked Nico out of the game, and State just wouldn't go away, right? And so they finally just said, okay, listen, we're just going to get behind this offensive line, and we're going to go victimize their defensive line. And they did, and they finally got that final push of separation. But State was so bad last year against the run. If you can just be decent, and everybody's like, well, how do you quantify decent? Middle of pack in the SEC. If you're just decent against the run, you're going to have a much better football team because you're going to give your offense a lot more opportunities to have the football.
All right. Mississippi State fans, just, think about Mike McIntyre for the next week and a half. And he's the guy that's going to have to turn the corner with this thing. And Steve's right. If they just finish in the 80s, and then I think you're talking about a whole new ball game. Celebrate game day at Two Brothers Restaurant and Bar and Older Brother Bistro in Starkville. Amazing food and libations, great atmosphere. Two Brothers and Older Brother. We're visiting with Steve Robertson, Gene's Page, 247 Sports. Colonel Kang is your best poster, in my opinion, and he posted on Sunday, I think, on your board, that whoever plays quarterback has to run the football. I'm in 100% agreement with him. So I understand Blake Shapen or any quarterback could get hurt running the football. Do you agree, Steve, that Blake's got to run it some, regardless of his injury history, for Mississippi State to be successful and actually play 11 on 11 on offense?
Well, the first thing that I'll say is the esteemed Colonel will be absolutely thrilled that he was mentioned on the show on Statewide Radio today. But number two, yes, you can't play scared. You cannot. You got to run your offense, and you got to get everybody ready to run every component of it. And when you get in the red zone, maybe perhaps we can have a package. And that's one of the things that I wrote about over the weekend. Maybe that's where Kamario Taylor gets an opportunity to make an impact on this offense. And you got to think, too, I mean, Shapeson's not going to be here next year.
Right.
And so any playing time that you get for Kamario and Luke Kromenhoek, not only does it help this year, it's an investment in next year. You can't let Blake get all the snaps. And so you also can't limit what you can do in the red zone because you're worried about Blake getting hurt. You can't.
Right.
You got to go play football. And you sign guys to play them. And listen, I see a lot of people out there, man, I hope we can redshirt Kamario.
Good Lord.
If we know that he's going to be here for 4 years, you don't know that, right? You got to go sign players that help you win football games, and then you got to put them in a position to help you win football games. And it's almost like kind of running a junior college program. You're not really building much anymore, right? You're playing year to year because of the way the portal works. And so if Kamario Taylor is a red zone quarterback, gives Mississippi State a chance to get to a bowl game, you'd be a fool not to utilize that. Thinking about next year, because you may not get next year. You've got to go out there and take the hand that you're dealt, play it as best you can to win as many football games as you can this year.
All right. Who's the best? Is Fluff the most talented running back on the team?
I don't know that I'm ready to go that far just yet. I think he's the most physically imposing. I think, Booth probably has, a little more experience. And the thing early in the year last year, I just kind of questioned Booth's vision a little bit. There were times he would run up the backside of his own blockers, and when there were plays to be made, he got better with that as the year went along. I think a lot of that, too, is because it's the fastest defensive players he's ever played against. He had to grow up a little bit and acclimate, and I believe he's done that. I think you'll see Fluff have kind of a similar development arc this year. It's going to take him a few games to kind of get acclimated to the speed of the game in this conference. But I love that personnel group. And I think it's certainly the best on offense. It could prove to be the best personnel group on the entire team. And with these changes on the offensive line, I think you're going to see Jeff Lebby run the football a lot more.
Okay, so most improved group, defensive line and running back.
Well, I don't know how much more improved off the running backs are because you traded Kevon Lee for Fluff Bothwell, which is a huge upgrade.
No kidding.
But let's be honest, it doesn't matter how much skill you have on offense when you can't stop the run. And so that's the biggest priority they had in the offseason is we have got to get some depth and got to get some talent on this defensive front. And they've done that. And again, we don't know how effective that's going to prove to be until you see an actual opponent, right? And it still may take you a couple of weeks, right? I mean, all due respect to Southern Miss, and no one might be being disrespectful, but that's going to be a team playing its first game with a bunch of new faces, and it's going to be interesting. I should say that. Now they got some guys who transferred in from some Power 4 schools, along the offensive line that may be able to get in there and compete. I just worry if I'm Southern Miss just about depth. Especially with State having some depth on the defensive front. I think that war of attrition may end up favoring the Bulldogs. Not to say that Southern Miss won't be effective in their league. I think they will be. But I think this Mississippi State team, from a physicality standpoint, has got to go out there in game one and kind of exert themselves.
Okay. Steve Robertson, Jeans Page, 247 Sports. What about special teams? Kickers, punters, what's the word?
It's interesting. The punter competition, I thought post-spring that it was absolutely going to be Ethan Pulliam, and it still may be. But they brought in some guys that have pushed him a little bit. And competition's great for all of us, right? It makes us all bring our best effort. But with Kyle Ferry, I mean, I don't know if we've had a kicker that we've had as much faith in year to year. I mean, we've had, some guys who've come in, Ruiz comes in and Nick Barmera comes in, and those guys are good for a year or so. But Kyle Ferry has been a guy that Mississippi State fans have learned to count on. And, he's back again for another year. And he may end up being one of Mississippi State's most valuable players just because of the fact he's done it in this league. He's not scared. He wants the football in those situations. He wants to go make the big kick. He probably, I'll just say it anyway, he probably wouldn't want me to say this, but I can promise you the dream of his life is to go to Fayetteville and kick that game-winning kick to beat the Razorbacks. He cherishes those moments, the opportunity to go out there and do something of significance. And in years past, we've had some guys, all due respect to them, a little bit soft in that department, right? We've had some guys that you held your breath every time they took the field. When Kyle Ferry walks out there, I'm expecting 3 points, and I think most everybody connected to Mississippi State football feels that way.
Could be huge for, for Levy and McIntyre in this group, as far as turning a game or two as the season unfolds. All right, so you and I are on the same page. 4-0, non-negotiable, host Tennessee, pack out Davis Wade for the first time since Leach won 9 games a couple years ago. Are we on the same page?
Yeah, for the most part. Honestly, I think, that as we've talked about all summer, that game against Arizona State, I think, is the most significant. And like if Levy and Mississippi State lose that game, it's not going to be a surprise to anybody. But if you win that game, and you're certainly capable of winning that game, you get it at home. And again, outside of that dreadful start that was really of your making, not really. Arizona State didn't dictate terms in that respect. You had the bad scoop and score fumble that you gave up, allowed them to get separation. And you take care of your business, you got a chance to go 4-0. You really do. And not just two guys sitting here talking on the radio. When you begin to think about what it looks like on paper, you should be able to go do that. I think 3-1 is the worst case scenario.
They're not
the worst case scenario, but that's going to put you really behind the 8 ball trying to make a bowl game.
They had a really good year. They were not a dominant, loaded team by any stretch. I give Dillingham credit. He hit on Levitt, Scattaboo, the receiver, the edge rusher. Again, that's why it's never been easier to win in college football. This comes down to landing 6 to 8 players and totally changing the look of your team in one portal haul, which if you're good at what you do, you can do. Okay, what else are we hitting here? If you had to bet $100, who's the first quarterback that plays other than Shapen? Is it Camario Taylor or Croman Hawk from Florida State?
Yeah, I think it could be situational, right? Like if you drive down there and you need, red zone QB power, I think I'm going to go with Camario, right? Because you got 4 games at a minimum to work with, right? And still preserve the red shirt. But, there may be a game where you get some separation and you want to save some wear and tear on Blake. I think Croman Hawk's probably the first guy that goes out. Maybe he takes over on a fresh series. And so I think it's somewhat situational, but I expect all 3 of these guys to play this year. I do. Maybe not extensively, but I think there is a role for each of them. And again, you want to give some live reps to these younger guys that are going to be competing for the starting job next year. I don't think there's any question. And I think it's going to be difficult to go in the portal and get a quarterback at the end of this year because of what you've got coming back, unless somebody decides to leave, because you're like, hey, you've got these 2 guys here, and Camario Taylor's a Mississippi State high school legend, and so why would I go, I got 1 year left to play. Why would I go to Mississippi State when they've already got a portal quarterback and a young guy that's expected to be the future? And so any snap that those guys get is really just an investment in next year's quarterback competition. So you don't want to be in a situation where, Blake takes 99% of the snaps.
No.
And you get in the next, and all you've got is practice tape. You want to see what they can do against a real opponent.
And you've got 4 non-conference games where you should be able to see a lot of that. My God, against Alcorn, Camario should play 2 quarters. So, and possibly against Northern Illinois, a good quarter or so, or several series, just depending on what shakes out. All right, you and I will disagree on there. I think it's a major disappointment if Mississippi State doesn't beat Arizona State at home with the investment that they've made in Levy's staff and in the portal. We're talking millions and millions and millions of dollars. Now, you mentioned Hutzler. I was wrong. You were right last year as far as him staying.
I still haven't had my steak either.
I know. I still owe you. I got to take you to Restaurant Tyler or Taste. Actually, Taste has a really good filet and ribeye too, but Restaurant Tyler, wonderful steaks, 44 Prime and Commodore Bob's. Oh, Big E's over there by Starkville. My buddy Eric Hallberg has a damn good ribeye and a shrimp appetizer that's good. All right, something I didn't ask you about. Did your daughter choose Harvard Law School or another law school? What happened?
Yeah, she's living on Harvard Square. She woke up in Cambridge, Massachusetts this morning. So yeah, she's there, and we are over the moon excited for her. And it's dad. This is the thing that I think that a lot of people miss. It's like because a lot of times you kind of defer to the same sex parent, right? I mean, you know how that goes.
Sure.
It's like, I think sometimes you got to be that again, right? And one of the things that I encouraged her is I said, you are among the elite because you are elite. Like you belong there. I don't want you to have this imposter syndrome where you're this small town girl from Mississippi. No, you're there because you are among the nation's most brilliant.
Yeah.
You're among the best and brightest.
Harvard
so
Law.
Own that and claim it, and then let's go ahead and get all this other nonsense out of the way. And I told her too. I'm a firm believer in making good memories. And I told her, I said, the first day, which was yesterday, I said, you go and you find a little local shop and a little cafe, and you go have that meal, and you get whatever you want because you're going to remember that meal the rest of your life.
Yeah.
That's how significant that is. I said, your first memories at Harvard, you get to choose that. Go find a little local coffee shop within walking distance of your place and go have a meal. But remember, these are the days that last forever. Yeah. And you can't take any of them for granted. And so, I'm so incredibly excited for her. And now I've got 4 kids in 4 states, which, lends its own sense of anxiety, right?
Right.
Something should happen around the country. There's a good chance somebody could be impacted, But the reality of it is I never wanted my kids to stay under my feet. I didn't want to be, the South Mississippi land baron that had about, 10, 12 acres and you build a big house and then all the kids build around you. That's just not what I wanted for my kids. Other people did, and that's fine for them, but I wanted my kids to get out and experience life and do amazing things.
Steve's daughter started school at Harvard Law School this month. Very, very, and she was a national debate champion too.
9 times.
9 times the debate team at Mississippi State. Harvard Law School for Steve Robertson's daughter. All right, thanks, man. We'll talk soon, okay? All right, so Steve joined us on the Out of Bounds show, genespage.com. That was brought to you by, speaking of Mississippi State, she's a Mississippi State undergrad. Ranked number 1, the College of Business at Mississippi State University. Ranked number 1 best online MBA program by Best Value Schools. Check it out today, online. Dean Scott Graw and the team at the College of Business at Mississippi State University doing amazing things. Take a private tour of the College of Business at Mississippi State. We'll see you tomorrow.